The crystal chandeliers scattered gold across the restaurant like broken promises. Emma Rodriguez smoothed her borrowed black dress, the fabric whispering secrets against her skin. 2 years. 2 years since she'd let herself hope like this. The corner table felt like a stage. She watched couples lean close over wine, their laughter soft and intimate. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Jake Miller arrived 15 minutes late. His suit screamed money. His eyes screamed disappointment. When he looked at her, something cold slithered across his face. He approached slowly, scanning her like merchandise. No smile, no warmth. You must be Emma. His voice carried the weight of a verdict. Yes, she smiled, hoping to melt the ice. Nice to meet you. He sat without ceremony, eyes already on the menu. The silence stretched between them like a wound. So Lisa tells me you work in marketing. Emma tried. Yeah, that sounds interesting. What kind of campaigns? Look. Jake's eyes cut into her. I'm going to be honest here. Lisa showed me a photo, but it must have been really old or something. The floor dropped beneath her feet. I'm sorry. What do you mean? I mean, I was expecting someone who actually takes care of herself. His voice rose, carrying to the neighboring tables. This is not what I signed up for. The words hit like a fist to the stomach. Heat flooded her face. Conversations died around them, replaced by the suffocating weight of stares. I don't understand, Emma whispered, her voice cracking. Come on, don't play dumb. He was louder now, feeding on the attention. You had to know you were misrepresenting yourself. I work out 5 times a week. I eat clean. I take care of my body. I expect the same from someone I'm dating. Emma's hands trembled, gripping the table edge. The humiliation crashed over her in waves. Each stare felt like a blade. Her carefully rebuilt confidence crumbled like ash. Maybe we should just order and try to have a nice evening, she pleaded. Jake's laugh cut through her like glass. Are you serious? Do you see this place? Do you know how much it costs to eat here? I'm not wasting my money on someone who obviously doesn't respect herself enough to maintain basic health. The tears burned behind her eyes. She refused to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of him, and all these strangers who'd turned her hope into their entertainment. I think maybe this was a mistake, Emma said quietly, reaching for her purse with shaking hands. You're damn right it was a mistake. Jake stood abruptly, his chair scraping like nails on glass. Next time, use a recent photo. Better yet, hit the gym before you start dating. He threw his napkin on the table like a weapon and stormed toward the exit. Emma sat frozen at the center of a storm of whispers. The humiliation was complete, devastating, utterly public. She fumbled for her purse, desperate to escape. Her vision blurred. Excuse me, miss. Emma looked up to see a man in his early 30s with kind brown eyes and dark hair. His charcoal suit was impeccable, but his expression held something she hadn't seen all evening. Genuine concern. I couldn't help but notice what just happened, he said quietly. I want you to know that man was completely out of line. His behavior was inexcusable. Emma stared at him, too shocked to speak. In all her years of small humiliations and quiet defeats, no one had ever stood up for her. I'm Gabriel, he said, extending his hand. Gabriel Stone. Emma, she managed to whisper. Emma, would you do me the honor of allowing me to buy you dinner? Not because I pity you, but because I believe everyone deserves to be treated with basic human decency. And what just happened here was the opposite of that. Emma looked into Gabriel's eyes and saw something that made her breath catch, something that whispered of salvation and second chances. But as she studied his face more closely, she noticed something else, a small scar above his left eyebrow, calluses on his hands that didn't match his expensive suit. Gabriel Stone wasn't just being kind. He was hiding something. You don't have to do that, Emma said softly, her voice still trembling. I know I don't have to, Gabriel replied, his tone carrying an odd weight. I want to. Besides, I was dining alone anyway, and I would much prefer the company of someone who seems to have a good heart. Something in his voice made Emma pause. There was a careful quality to his words, as if each one had been chosen with surgical precision. But the kindness in his eyes seemed genuine, and after Jake's cruelty, she found herself desperate for any human warmth. Okay, she whispered finally. Thank you. Gabriel's smile transformed his entire face. He gestured toward his table by the window. Shall we? As they walked past the staring faces, Gabriel stayed close beside her, his presence forming a protective barrier against the whispers. Emma felt some of her dignity returning with each step. Gabriel's table overlooked the city lights. The view was spectacular enough to steal breath. He pulled out her chair like it was the most natural thing in the world. "I hope you like red wine," he said, pouring her a glass from an already open bottle. "This is a 2015 Barolo. Notes of cherry and rose." Emma took a sip. The wine was smooth, expensive. Nothing like the cheap bottles she bought for herself. "So Emma," Gabriel said, leaning back in his chair, "tell me something real about yourself. Not the dating profile version. The truth." The question caught her off guard. "I'm a graphic designer," she said slowly. "I freelance mostly. I spend too much time with my cat. I read romance novels and cry at the endings." She paused, then added with a bitter laugh, "And apparently, I'm not good enough for men like Jake Miller." "Men like Jake Miller," Gabriel said, his voice suddenly hard, "are parasites. They consume without giving. They break beautiful things because they don't understand value." The intensity in his eyes startled her. "You sound like you know the type." "I do." Gabriel's jaw tightened. "Better than you could imagine." Before Emma could ask what he meant, their waiter appeared with menus. Gabriel ordered for them both without asking, his choices confident and specific. Emma should have found it presumptuous, but somehow it felt protective instead. "My turn," Emma said after the waiter left. "Tell me something real about Gabriel Stone." His smile didn't reach his eyes. "I'm a businessman. I invest in companies, help them grow. I travel too much. I don't sleep enough." He paused, then added quietly, "And I've spent the last 5 years trying to become someone my father would have been proud of." "Would have been?" "He died when I was 26. Heart attack, sudden." Gabriel's fingers traced the stem of his wine glass. "He left me everything, and I've spent every day since trying to prove I deserved it." Emma heard the pain beneath his words. "I'm sure he was proud of you. You didn't know my father." Gabriel's laugh was hollow. He had very specific ideas about what made a man worthy. Success, power, control. He looked up at her. "I failed him in the one way that mattered most." "What way?" "I fell in love with the wrong woman." The words hung between them like smoke. "What happened?" Emma asked softly. Gabriel was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "Her name was Sophia. We met at a charity gala. She was beautiful, brilliant, everything I thought I wanted." His hands clenched into fists. "She was also married to my business partner, and when my father found out about the affair, the shock and disappointment literally killed him. 3 days after he confronted me, his heart gave out." Emma's breath caught. "Gabriel, that's not your fault, isn't it?" His eyes met hers, and Emma saw a depth of pain that made her chest ache. "He died knowing his son was a man without honor, a man who destroyed friendships and marriages for selfish desire. I killed him, Emma. Maybe not with my hands, but with my choices." The confession settled between them like broken glass. "Why are you telling me this?" Emma whispered. Gabriel reached across the table, his hand covering hers. His touch was warm, electric. "Because I see something in you that I lost in myself. Goodness. Genuine kindness. You walked into this restaurant hoping for connection, and that fool tried to destroy you for it." His thumb traced circles on her palm. "I want you to know that not all men are like Jake Miller. Some of us are far worse." Emma's heart hammered in her chest. "You're not worse. You made a mistake." "That's not all I've done, Emma." Gabriel's voice dropped lower. "There are things about me you don't know, things that would make you run from this table and never look back." "Then why invite me to dinner?" Gabriel's eyes searched her face with an intensity that made her skin flush. "Because the moment I saw you sitting there, broken and beautiful and refusing to cry, something inside me shifted, something I thought died with my father." He leaned closer. "And I realized I would do anything to see you smile, even if it means you eventually learn to hate me." Emma's pulse raced. This was insane. She'd just met this man, but something in his words, in his touch, in the raw honesty of his confession, made her feel more alive than she had in years. "I don't understand." The restaurant door burst open. A woman in a red dress strode in, her heels clicking against the marble floor like gunshots. She was stunning, with sharp cheekbones and eyes that could cut diamond. She stopped at their table. "Hello, Gabriel," she said, her voice dripping with venom and something else. Possession. "I see you've moved on quickly." Gabriel's hand tightened on Emma's. "Sophia," he said, his voice turning to ice, "you need to leave." "Leave?" Sophia's laugh was cruel. "Darling, I'm just getting started." She turned to Emma, her smile predatory. "Has he told you yet? About our little arrangement? About why he really invited you to dinner?" Emma's blood turned cold. What is she talking about? Gabriel stood abruptly. "Sophia, don't." "He made a bet," Sophia said, her words precise and devastating. "With me, 3 months ago. He said he could make any woman fall in love with him in one evening. Any woman, even one that other men rejected." The words hit Emma like a physical blow. "That's not true," Gabriel said, his voice desperate. "Emma, that's not." But Emma was already standing, her chair scraping back. The humiliation from earlier came rushing back, doubled, tripled. "You played me," she whispered, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. "This whole time you were just—" "No." Gabriel moved toward her, but Emma stepped back. "Emma, please, let me explain." "Explain what?" Her voice broke. "That I was a joke to you too? That you're just a more sophisticated version of Jake Miller?" She grabbed her purse and ran. Behind her, she heard Gabriel calling her name. But Emma didn't stop. She burst through the restaurant door into the cold night air, her sobs finally breaking free, and she didn't see the black car that had been waiting across the street, the one that started following her the moment she began to run. Emma ran until her lungs burned and her borrowed heels cut into her feet. The city lights blurred through her tears. She ducked into an alley, pressing her back against the cold brick wall, trying to catch her breath. The humiliation was complete now. Not once, but twice in one night. Footsteps echoed in the alley. Emma's heart jumped into her throat. "Emma, please." Gabriel's voice cut through the darkness. "Just listen to me." She spun around, anger replacing fear. "Listen to you? Listen to more lies." Gabriel stood at the alley entrance, his perfect suit rumpled, his chest heaving. His eyes were wild, desperate. "Sophia is my ex. She's been trying to destroy me for months. That bet, it's not what you think." "Then what is it?" Emma's voice cracked. "Tell me the truth, Gabriel. For once, just tell me the damn truth." Gabriel ran his hands through his hair. For a moment, he looked utterly broken. "There was a bet," he said quietly. "But not the one Sophia described." Emma's stomach dropped. 3 months ago, after I ended things with Sophia, she made me a wager. She said I was incapable of genuine connection, that everything I touch turns to ash. Gabriel's voice shook. She bet me that I couldn't find real love, that any woman I chose would eventually see through me and leave. So I am part of a bet. You were never supposed to be. Gabriel took a step closer. I was dining alone tonight, trying to prove to myself that Sophia was wrong, that I could sit in a restaurant and not see the world as a game board. His eyes met hers, and then I saw Jake humiliate you, and I saw you refuse to break, and something in me just... He stopped, his jaw clenching. "Something in you what?" "Recognized you," Gabriel whispered. "I saw myself in you, Emma. Someone who's been broken by someone else's cruelty. Someone trying to rebuild. And I thought, maybe if I could show you kindness, maybe if I could prove that not everyone is a monster, then maybe I could prove it to myself too." Emma wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him so badly. "Why should I trust anything you say?" "Because I'm going to tell you everything," Gabriel said, his voice raw. "The whole truth, even the parts that will make you hate me." He took a deep breath. "My name is Gabriel Stone. I'm the CEO of Stone Industries. My company is worth $3 billion. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. His voice turned bitter. "I also have no real friends, no family left, and I haven't had an honest conversation in 5 years. Every person I meet wants something from me: money, access, power. Sophia wanted all 3. She was married to my business partner, Marcus, and I was stupid enough to believe she loved me." Gabriel's hands clenched into fists. "She didn't. She was using me to get information about Marcus's accounts. When I found out, I ended it. She retaliated by destroying my partnership with Marcus, spreading lies that cost me millions, and making that bet to prove I'm incapable of love. Emma's heart ached despite her anger. And you thought I could help you win? No. Gabriel's voice was fierce. I thought you deserved better than Jake Miller. That's all. I swear on my father's grave, Emma. I had no ulterior motive. I just wanted to give you the evening you deserved. Then why did Sophia say? Because she's been following me, Gabriel said darkly. She has private investigators tracking my every move. When she saw me with you, she assumed I was trying to win the bet. She came to destroy whatever was happening between us because that's what she does. She destroys things. Emma studied his face in the dim light of the alley. She wanted to see deception, wanted to protect herself from more pain. But all she saw was raw, desperate honesty. I don't know if I can believe you, she whispered. I know, Gabriel stepped closer. But let me prove it to you. Give me a chance to show you I'm telling the truth. How? Come with me. Right now. Let me show you who I really am. Emma's instinct screamed at her to run, but something deeper, something that had recognized Gabriel from the moment their eyes met, made her stay. Where? My home. I want to show you something I've never shown anyone else. It was insane. Dangerous. Everything Emma had been taught to avoid, but she found herself nodding. Okay. Gabriel's relief was palpable. He reached for her hand and Emma let him take it. They walked to the end of the alley where a black car waited. The same black car that had been following Emma, she realized with a chill. That's been following me, she said, pulling back. I know, Gabriel said quietly. That's my security. I sent them to make sure you were safe after you ran. You sent them before Sophia showed up? Gabriel nodded. The moment you agreed to have dinner with me, I texted my head of security. I knew if Sophia's investigators saw us, she might try something. I wanted to make sure you were protected. Emma's mind spun. You were protecting me from your ex? From the beginning? I told you, Gabriel said softly. The moment I saw you, something shifted. I would do anything to keep you safe, even if it means you learn to hate me. The driver opened the door. Gabriel helped Emma inside, then slid in beside her. The car pulled away from the curb smoothly, heading into the night. Emma watched the city lights stream past, her heart hammering. Where do you live? She asked. The penthouse, 50th floor, views of the entire city. Of course he did. They rode in silence for several minutes. Then Gabriel spoke, his voice low and intimate in the darkness. I need to tell you something else. Something Sophia doesn't know. Something no one knows. Emma turned to look at him. The night my father died, I made him a promise. I told him I would become a better man, that I would use my wealth and power to help people, not just accumulate more. Gabriel's eyes were dark, haunted. I've kept that promise. Stone Industries funds hospitals, schools, shelters. We've helped thousands of people, but I've done it all in secret because I didn't want recognition. I wanted redemption. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know that I'm trying. I'm not a good man, Emma, but I'm trying to become one. He reached over, his hand covering hers. And meeting you tonight, seeing your strength in the face of cruelty, it reminded me why I made that promise in the first place. The car pulled up to a sleek skyscraper, all glass and steel reaching into the night sky. The driver opened the door, and Gabriel led Emma inside. The lobby was marble and gold, the security nodding at Gabriel as they passed. The private elevator shot upward so fast Emma's ears popped. When the doors opened, Emma gasped. The penthouse was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the city like a living painting. Modern furniture, expensive art, everything tasteful and cold. This way, Gabriel said, leading her past the main living area to a door at the far end. He pulled out a key, his hand trembling slightly. No one has been in this room except me, he said quietly. Not even my housekeeper. He opened the door. Inside was a study, but unlike the cold perfection of the rest of the penthouse, this room was alive, warm. The walls were covered in photographs. Not of Gabriel, but of people. Children laughing. Families reuniting. Hospital wings being opened. These are the people Stone Industries has helped, Gabriel said softly. Every single one. I keep their photos here to remind myself why I do this, why I keep trying to be better. Emma walked slowly around the room, her eyes taking in face after face. Joy, gratitude, hope. "This is who you are," she whispered. "This is who I'm trying to be," Gabriel corrected. "The real me is still the man who had an affair with a married woman. The man who disappointed his father. The man who— Stop." Emma turned to face him. "You're also the man who defended a stranger in a restaurant, who opened his home to show her his heart, who's been trying to redeem himself for 5 years. Gabriel's eyes glistened. "Do you believe me now? About tonight?" Emma took a step toward him. Then another, until she was close enough to see the flecks of gold in his brown eyes, the way his breath caught when she reached up to touch his face. "I want to," she whispered. "Then let me prove it." Gabriel's voice was rough with emotion. "Stay with me tonight." "Not like that," he added quickly. "Just stay. Let me show you that not everyone will hurt you, that some of us are capable of more." Emma knew she should say no, should call a car and go home and never see Gabriel Stone again. But when his arms wrapped around her, when his lips found hers in a kiss that tasted like wine and redemption and desperate hope, she found herself saying yes. They pulled apart, breathless. "Emma," Gabriel whispered against her lips, "there's one more thing I need to tell you." "What?" Before he could answer, his phone rang. Gabriel pulled it out, his expression darkening as he read the screen. "No," he breathed. No. What's wrong?" Gabriel looked up at her, and Emma saw something in his eyes that made her blood run cold. Fear. "It's Sophia," he said, his voice shaking. "She sent something to my board of directors. Something about you. About tonight. What could she possibly send?" "We just met." Gabriel's phone dinged again. He looked at the screen, and the color drained from his face. "She's claiming you're a corporate spy. That I hired you to infiltrate Jake Miller's company. That tonight was a setup." Emma's mouth fell open. "That's insane. I don't even know Jake. Jake Miller is the CEO of Miller Tech," Gabriel said quietly. "My biggest competitor. Sophia knows this. She's trying to make it look like I used you as bait. Like everything tonight was calculated. But you can prove it's not true, can I?" Gabriel's voice cracked. "I invited a woman I just met to my home. I told you company secrets. I let my guard down." He looked at her, devastated. "Sophia's been planning this. She knew I would see you. She probably arranged for Jake to be at that restaurant, knowing he would humiliate you, knowing I wouldn't be able to resist stepping in." The pieces clicked into place with horrifying clarity. "She set us both up," Emma whispered. "And if I don't distance myself from you right now, if I don't claim tonight never happened, she'll destroy both of us. The board will force me out. You'll be blacklisted in every industry. She'll make sure neither of us ever recovers." Gabriel's hands shook as he held his phone. "I'm so sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry I dragged you into this." Emma felt the walls closing in. Another betrayal. Another man choosing himself over her. "So that's it?" Her voice was hollow. "You're just going to throw me away to save yourself?" "No." Gabriel grabbed her shoulders, his eyes fierce. "I'm going to fix this. I promise you, Emma, I will fix this." "How?" Gabriel's jaw set in a hard line. "By doing what I should have done 5 years ago. By destroying Sophia before she destroys us." His words hung in the air, like a threat and a promise. And Emma realized, with a chill, that Gabriel Stone was far more dangerous than she'd ever imagined. Gabriel made 3 phone calls in rapid succession, his voice cold and precise. CEO voice, Emma thought. The kind that moved mountains and destroyed empires. "I need everything you have on Sophia Chen. Bank records, communications, travel history. Everything." Pause. "I don't care what it costs. I want it by morning." He ended the call and turned to Emma, his expression softening. "You should stay here tonight. It's not safe for you to go home. Sophia's investigators will be watching your apartment." "I'm not hiding," Emma said, her voice stronger than she felt. "I didn't do anything wrong. I know that. But Sophia doesn't play fair. If she thinks you're a threat to her plans..." "Her plans?" Emma's hands clenched into fists. "What plans? What does she want?" Gabriel was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was heavy with regret. "She wants me broken. Completely. She..." Wants to take everything I've built and burn it to the ground because I had the audacity to end things with her. That's psychotic. That's Sophia. Gabriel poured himself a drink from the bar, his hands trembling slightly. When I met her, she was brilliant, ambitious, everything I thought I wanted. But underneath that perfect surface was something dark, something that needed to control and dominate. He took a long drink. When I found out she was using me, I confronted her. I told her I knew about the information she'd been stealing. That I was done. His voice dropped. She smiled at me, Emma. Smiled, and she said, "You'll regret this. I'll make sure you lose everything that matters." "She's been destroying you for 3 months," Emma said quietly. "Longer than that. She poisoned my business partner against me, spread rumors that cost me clients, made that bet to prove I was incapable of love." Gabriel's eyes met hers, and tonight she saw her perfect opportunity. A woman publicly humiliated, vulnerable, and me stepping in to play hero. She knew I would take the bait. Emma's stomach churned. "So I am bait." "No." Gabriel crossed the room in 3 strides, his hands framing her face. "You were never bait. You were the first real thing I've felt in years." Sophia saw that, and she weaponized it. His thumb traced her cheekbone. "I should let you go. I should put you in a car right now and make sure you never see me again. It would be safer for you." "Then why don't you?" Gabriel's eyes darkened. "Because I'm a selfish bastard who can't let you go. Because the thought of losing you after one evening is more painful than anything Sophia could do to me." Emma's breath caught. This was insane. They'd known each other for hours, but something in Gabriel's words resonated in a place deep inside her that had been dormant for years. "What are you going to do?" she whispered. "I'm going to give her what she wants." Emma pulled back. "What?" "I'm going to resign from Stone Industries, effective immediately. I'll tell the board that the allegations are true, that I compromised company integrity, and that I'm stepping down to protect the organization." "Gabriel, no, it's the only way to keep you safe," he said fiercely. "If I resign, there's no story. No scandal. Sophia loses her leverage. You walk away clean. But you'll lose everything. Your company, your father's legacy." "My father's legacy is in those photos," Gabriel said, gesturing to the study. "The people we've helped. That doesn't disappear because I step down. The company will continue its work. Someone else will lead it. And what about you?" Gabriel's smile was sad. "I'll survive." "I always do." Emma saw the lie in his eyes, saw what this would cost him. Saw the man who'd spent 5 years trying to redeem himself, preparing to throw it all away. For her. For a woman he'd just met. "I won't let you do this," Emma said, her voice shaking. "You don't have a choice." "Yes, I do." Emma grabbed his hand. "Tell me how to beat her. There has to be another way." Gabriel shook his head. "Sophia is always 3 steps ahead. She's been planning this for months. By now, she's probably already leaked the story to the press. By morning, both our faces will be plastered across every business website. The narrative will be set. Corporate espionage, conspiracy. We won't be able to fight it." "Then we get ahead of the narrative," Emma said, her mind racing. "We tell our story first. The truth. All of it. No one will believe us. They will if we have proof." Emma's eyes widened. "The restaurant. Gabriel, there are cameras in that restaurant. Security footage. They'll show Jake humiliating me. They'll show you stepping in. They'll prove tonight was exactly what it looked like." Gabriel stared at her, hope flickering in his eyes. "The restaurant owner is a friend. I could get the footage, then do it. Right now, before Sophia can make it disappear." Gabriel pulled out his phone, dialing quickly. Emma paced the penthouse, her heart hammering. This could work. This could actually work, Michael. It's Gabriel Stone. I need a favor. A big one. Emma watched Gabriel's face as he talked, saw the tension in his jaw, the desperate hope in his eyes. "The footage from tonight, all of it. I need it within the hour." Pause. "I understand. But this is life or death, Michael. I'm calling in every favor you've ever owed me." Another pause. "Longer this time, thank you. Send it to my personal email. Encrypted." He hung up and looked at Emma. "He'll send it. We'll have it in 45 minutes. Then what?" "Then we go to war." Gabriel's voice was steel. "We release the footage ourselves. We tell our story. We show the world exactly who Sophia Chen is. Emma nodded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She'll retaliate. Let her try. Gabriel pulled Emma close. I've spent 5 years playing defense. 5 years letting her control the narrative. Not anymore. They waited in tense silence, the city lights glittering below them. Emma's phone buzzed. A text from Lisa, her friend who'd set up the blind date. Oh my God, Emma, are you okay? Jake called me and said the date was a disaster. What happened? Emma stared at the text, a cold realization washing over her. Gabriel, she said slowly. How did Sophia know Jake would humiliate me? How did she know I would be vulnerable enough for you to step in? Gabriel's face went pale. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe Jake was in on it? Maybe Sophia paid him to treat me like garbage, knowing you would see, knowing you wouldn't be able to resist playing hero. Gabriel's phone rang. He answered it, his face darkening as he listened. Are you sure? Pause. Send me everything. He hung up, his expression grim. That was my investigator. You were right. Sophia paid Jake Miller $50,000 to go on a date with you and ensure it ended publicly and humiliatingly. She set the whole thing up. Emma's hands shook. She used me. She used both of us. And she's been using Jake too, Gabriel said darkly. According to my investigator, Sophia's been having an affair with Jake for 2 months. She's been feeding him inside information about Miller Tech's competitors. My competitors. The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. She's destroying both your companies. And profiting from it, Gabriel said. She's short-selling both our stocks. When the scandal breaks, both companies will tank, and Sophia will make millions. Emma felt sick. This was never about revenge. It was about money. With Sophia, it's always about money. Gabriel's phone dinged. The footage is here. He pulled up the email on his laptop, and they watched in silence as the evening played out on screen. Jake's cruelty, Emma's humiliation, Gabriel's intervention, Sophia's dramatic entrance and vicious lies. It was all there. Every moment. This proves our story, Emma said. It proves what happened, Gabriel corrected. But it doesn't prove Sophia paid Jake. It doesn't prove the corporate espionage. We need more. Then we get more. Emma grabbed Gabriel's laptop. You said your investigator has Sophia's bank records. Show me. Gabriel pulled up the files. Emma scanned through them, her graphic designer's eye catching patterns and anomalies. There, she said, pointing. That's a payment to Jake Miller. $50,000 dated 3 days ago. And there, another payment to someone named Marcus Chen. That's her husband, Gabriel said. Ex-husband. They divorced 6 months ago. Why is she still paying him? Gabriel's eyes widened. Because he's helping her. Marcus knows all my business secrets. If Sophia's using him, his phone rang again. This time when Gabriel answered, Emma saw his entire body go rigid. What? His voice was deadly quiet. When? He listened, his face draining of color. I understand. I'll handle it. He hung up and looked at Emma, and she saw something in his eyes that made her blood run cold. You think that matters? You think anyone will care about evidence when they've already decided you're guilty? People don't want truth, Gabriel. They want drama, and I've given them the best show in town. Then I'll give them a better one, Emma said, her voice cutting through the phone like a blade. I'll tell them everything. How you set me up. How you paid Jake to humiliate me. How you used my pain as a weapon. Go ahead, Sophia purred. No one knows who you are. You're nobody. Your word against mine. She's not nobody. Gabriel's voice was steel. She's the woman I'm in love with. That was my head of security. Marcus Chen just posted a manifesto online. He's claiming I stole his wife, destroyed his business, and framed him for corporate espionage. Gabriel's hands clenched into fists. He's ruined Emma, completely, and he's blaming me. But you didn't. It doesn't matter. Sophia's been setting this up for months. Marcus is her final move, the sympathetic victim, the wronged husband. When his story goes viral, nothing we say will matter. The court of public opinion will crucify me. Emma's mind raced, unless we prove Sophia manipulated him too. How? By finding someone who knows the truth. Someone who was close enough to see what she was doing. Emma looked at Gabriel. Who else did Sophia hurt? Who else has she destroyed? Gabriel was quiet for a moment. Then his eyes widened. Her former assistant, Claire. She quit 3 months ago, right when I ended things with Sophia. She left without notice, without a reference. I always wondered why. Call her, right now. Emma, it's almost midnight. Call her. Gabriel dialed. The phone rang 4 times before a sleepy voice answered. Hello? Claire, this is Gabriel Stone. I'm sorry to call so late, but I need to ask you something important. Why did you quit? Silence on the other end. Then quietly, she threatened me. Said if I didn't leave without making a fuss, she'd destroy my career. Why would she threaten you? Because I saw things. Emails. Messages. I knew what she was doing to you, to Marcus, to the company. She knew I could expose her, so she bought my silence. Claire, Gabriel said carefully, would you be willing to talk? To tell the truth about what you saw? Another long pause. She'll destroy me. Not if we destroy her first. Emma heard Claire take a shaky breath. What do you need me to do? Gabriel looked at Emma, hope blazing in his eyes. Everything you know. Every email, every conversation, every piece of evidence you have. Send it to me, tonight. Okay, Claire whispered. Okay, but Gabriel? Be careful. Sophia doesn't lose, ever. She'll do anything to win. So will I, Gabriel said, his voice cold. So will I. He hung up and pulled Emma into his arms. We can beat her, he said fiercely. We can end this. Emma wanted to believe him. But as she looked out at the city lights, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something. That Sophia had one more move planned. And when Gabriel's laptop suddenly went black, when every light in the penthouse went out, plunging them into darkness, Emma realized with a chill that she was right. Sophia was already making her final move, and they'd walked right into her trap. The darkness was absolute. Emma's heart hammered against her ribs. Gabriel, stay close to me. His hand found hers in the darkness, warm and steady. This is a controlled blackout. Someone cut the power to the entire building. Sophia. She's trying to scare us, or buy herself time to. The emergency lights flickered on, bathing everything in red. Gabriel's phone buzzed. Then again, and again, the sound like rapid gunfire in the silence. He looked at the screen, and Emma saw his face go pale in the crimson light. She's releasing everything. Right now, the story, the accusations, doctored emails that make it look like we've been conspiring for months. His voice was hollow. She's even fabricated texts between us. Planning, scheming. Emma, she's made us look guilty of everything she accused us of. Emma's knees went weak. This was it, the final blow. Everything Gabriel had built, everything he'd tried to redeem, destroyed in a single moment. We still have the evidence, she said desperately. Claire's testimony, the bank records. Won't matter if we can't upload it. Gabriel gestured at his dead laptop. She's locked us in here. No power, no internet. By the time we get out, the narrative will be set. We'll spend years fighting it, and we'll still lose. Emma heard the defeat in his voice, saw the way his shoulders sagged. This was a man preparing to surrender. No, she said fiercely. No, we don't give up. There has to be another way. Emma, you told me you'd do anything to keep me safe. You told me you'd destroy her before she destroyed us. Emma grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. So do it. Fight. Something flickered in Gabriel's eyes, something that looked like hope. The building has a backup generator. It should kick in any second. The lights came back on. Gabriel's laptop booted up. They had seconds, maybe minutes, before Sophia cut them off again. Send everything, Emma said. Every piece of evidence we have. Send it to every news outlet, every board member, every person who matters. Do it now. Gabriel's fingers flew across the keyboard. Emma watched over his shoulder as files uploaded, emails sent, evidence scattered across the digital landscape like seeds in a storm. It's done, Gabriel said. Whatever happens now, his phone rang. He answered it on speaker. Gabriel Stone. Well played. Sophia's voice was silk over razor blades. But you're too late. My story is already trending. Your reputation is already ash. Maybe, Gabriel said. But I just sent proof of everything you've done to 50 different journalists. Bank records showing you paid Jake Miller. Emails showing you manipulated Marcus. Claire's testimony about your threats. By morning, the world will know exactly who you are. Sophia's laugh was cold. The words hung in the air like a revelation. Emma's breath caught. Gabriel looked at her, his eyes raw and vulnerable and absolutely certain. "I'm in love with you, Emma Rodriguez," he said, louder now. "I fell in love with you the moment I saw you refuse to cry, the moment I saw your strength in the face of cruelty, and I don't care what Sophia does, what lies she tells, what she destroys. I'm not letting you go." Emma felt tears streaming down her face. "Gabriel, and you know what the beautiful thing is, Sophia?" Gabriel's voice was triumphant now. "You were right. You told me I was incapable of love, that everything I touch turns to ash. But you were wrong. Emma didn't turn to ash. She turned me back into a man. A real one who's willing to sacrifice everything for the person he loves." "How touching," Sophia said, but Emma heard something new in her voice. Uncertainty. "I'm resigning from Stone Industries," Gabriel continued. "Effective immediately. I'm giving up my position, my salary, my board seat, all of it. And I'm asking the board to conduct a full investigation into your activities, Sophia. Every payment, every email, every lie. When they're done, you won't just lose your revenge. You'll lose your freedom." Silence on the other end of the line. "You're bluffing," Sophia said finally. "Am I?" Gabriel's smile was sharp. "You forget, Sophia. I learned from the best. I learned from you, and I've been building my own insurance policy for months. Every conversation we've had since we broke up, recorded. Every email, saved. Every threat, documented. I have 3 years of evidence against you, and I'm turning all of it over to the FBI." Emma heard Sophia's sharp intake of breath. "You wouldn't dare. Watch me." Gabriel ended the call. The penthouse was silent except for their breathing. Emma stared at Gabriel, her mind reeling. "Did you really record everything? Every word?" Gabriel pulled up a file on his laptop. "I knew she wouldn't stop. I knew she'd keep coming, so I prepared. Why didn't you use it before?" "Because I didn't want to destroy her. I wanted to move on. To be better than her." Gabriel's eyes met Emma's. "But then she went after you, and that changed everything. No one hurts you and walks away. No one." Emma felt something break open inside her chest, something that had been locked away since her last relationship shattered. "You're really in love with me?" she whispered. "We just met." "I know." Gabriel pulled her close. "I know it's insane. I know it's too fast. But Emma, when you've spent 5 years in the dark, you recognize light when you see it, and you're light. Pure, genuine, beautiful light." Emma's tears fell faster now. "I don't understand. How can you love me? You don't even know me?" "I know you were brave enough to walk into a restaurant after 2 years of rebuilding yourself. I know you were strong enough to survive Jake's cruelty without breaking. I know you're brilliant enough to see patterns in bank records I missed. I know you're fierce enough to fight for a man you just met." Gabriel's voice shook. "I know enough, and I want to spend the rest of my life learning more." Emma kissed him then, deep and desperate and absolutely certain. When they pulled apart, both were breathless. "I'm falling for you too," she whispered. "God help me, Gabriel Stone, I'm falling so hard." "Then fall with me." Gabriel's smile was radiant. "Let's burn the whole world down and build something better from the ashes." His phone buzzed. Then again, and again. Messages flooded in. Gabriel looked at the screen, his expression shifting from shock to something like wonder. "Emma, look at this." She leaned over his shoulder. News alerts. Dozens of them. The evidence they'd sent had gone viral. Journalists were already reporting on Sophia's manipulation, on Jake's betrayal, on the corporate conspiracy, and the comments. Thousands of them. People supporting Emma, supporting Gabriel, calling for Sophia's arrest. "It's working," Emma breathed. "It's more than working." Gabriel scrolled through the messages. The board just sent an emergency message. They're suspending Sophia's access to all company systems. They're launching an investigation. "Emma, we won." But Emma wasn't paying attention to the phone anymore. She was looking at Gabriel, at this complicated, broken, beautiful man who'd defended her when no one else would. Who'd risked everything to keep her safe. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now?" Gabriel pulled her close. "Now I keep my promise to my father. I become a better man. I use my second chance to help people, to be worthy of the life I've been given." He kissed her forehead. "And I spend every day proving to you that tonight wasn't luck or fate or manipulation. It was real. The realest thing I've ever felt." "What about Stone Industries?" Someone else can run it. Someone better. I'll still fund the programs, still help people. But from now on, I'm living for more than redemption. He looked into her eyes. I'm living for us. Emma felt the last of her walls crumble. This is crazy, she said, laughing through her tears. We're crazy. Probably, Gabriel grinned. Is that a yes? To what? To us. To seeing where this goes. To taking a chance on a man who's far from perfect, but who promises to spend his life trying to be worthy of you. Emma thought about the woman who'd walked into that restaurant hours ago. Nervous, hopeful, fragile. She thought about Jake's cruelty and Sophia's manipulation in all the ways the night could have destroyed her, but instead she'd found this beautiful, complicated, utterly unexpected thing. Yes, she whispered. Yes to all of it. Gabriel kissed her again, and Emma felt the city lights outside the window bearing witness to their beginning. Not perfect, not simple, but real. 6 months later, Emma stood in the same restaurant where it all began. The corner table had been reserved, candles flickering in the same gentle light. But this time she wasn't alone. Gabriel sat across from her, his hand holding hers across the table. The suit was the same, the kind eyes were the same, but everything else had changed. Stone Industries had a new CEO, someone brilliant and ethical who'd expanded the programs Gabriel started. Sophia Chen was facing federal charges for fraud, conspiracy, and corporate espionage. Jake Miller had lost his company and his reputation, and Emma and Gabriel had found something neither of them had been looking for. Home. What are you thinking? Gabriel asked, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. I'm thinking about the woman who sat here 6 months ago. How terrified she was. How broken. And now? Emma smiled. Now she's found something worth fighting for. Gabriel raised his wine glass. To second chances. To second chances, Emma echoed, her glass meeting his with a soft clink. They drank, and Emma tasted possibility. The restaurant that had witnessed her humiliation now witnessed her triumph. And as Gabriel stood, pulling her to her feet and into his arms, Emma realized something profound. Sometimes the worst moments of our lives are just the beginning of our best ones. Sometimes cruelty is just the shadow that makes kindness shine brighter. Sometimes you have to be broken before you can be remade into something stronger. And sometimes, just sometimes, love finds you in the most unexpected places. Ready to go home? Gabriel whispered against her hair. Emma looked up at him, at this man who'd defended her, fought for her, loved her when she couldn't love herself. With you? She said. Always. They walked out of the restaurant hand in hand, leaving the past behind and stepping into a future neither of them had planned, but both of them had chosen. And in the end, that was the most beautiful thing of all. Not the fairy tale ending, but the real one. The end.